So a while ago I made this video about Remad Custom, their human spider figure, obviously Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Now I did discount that body that they used, and I was coming in from the perspective of it being a functional action figure. And it wasn't, and that's simply due to the body not being able to hold the poses. It was quite weak, the joints weren't really that good, but the adapters at the hands and the sockets for the sneakers and the head sculpt, they just didn't really function. So the function of the body was like just not there. And that's where I want to discount it, and I want to give them some feedback to just get a different body or use a body that's already on the market that is mass produced, like the Remad Custom body. I don't know how that really works, but then again, we're talking about unlicensed stuff here, so it shouldn't be too harsh to, well, probably just use something of somebody else. And after playing with this figure for a while, I wanted to address a little bit more of what I really like about third-party companies and this figure. It's soft goods and accessories in particular. I have made a video on how I edited this figure to make it work. So I swapped out a body, I drilled out the holes in the hands, I made a custom peg for the head sculpt. I had to drill out the head sculpt with the balaclava simply to make more space for a custom ball joint. And then the ball joint went into the body, and the other side, the ball joint, I cut off with a little bit of a square to have it more tight in that head sculpt, because I didn't need it to move deeper, but I did need it to stick around. So it should be long enough to hold it in pose, and it should be able to pose a little bit, but it shouldn't be too low because then it will restrict the movement. But you can see in the video on how it works, and that I put the soft goods balaclava on there. So when I swapped out the body for an Remad Custom body or a Noda body, I'm not sure which one, I'll put it in the comments or in the description. It was actually quite nice, and I started to love this figure more. And the figure being everything that you see and not the official release. But I just wanted to show you that with a few simple like drilling methods on the head sculpt and just a little bit of extra drilling in the hands, that you can make it work with a custom body, and that it has more shelf presence because it stands just more firm and it can hold the poses and it holds the hands and doesn't really fall apart. And I do want to say, if you make a figure and the first thing that happens when you put it out the package, and again, it's third party, it's custom stuff, and it's not even their 20th figure, I believe. But then again, if something already falls apart when you're just doing a little bit of posing, that's quite bad. It could be, it's like just better to have some tight joints or a good body to impress people. And to be honest, they can charge $20 more if they use a decent enough body that doesn't need swapping. But now I had to use a different body, so I already spent $24 extra on this Nota or Remad Custom body. So I purchased that, had to replace it, so I already spent a $25 extra. So they could have done that as well and just gotten a full release out there. So after swapping and just putting it around in the house and on the shelves and just playing with it more and more and more, I started to notice that I had more love for this figure, and I kind of forgot in the other video on why the third-party companies are so important. And that's because they make stuff that nobody else is going to make. And if you want to wait for an official release, human spider in 1/12 scale, be my guest, but that's gonna be a long time before anything like that happens. I just wanna see more of this stuff, and with the Wonder Festival in Shanghai, they showed so much more stuff, and I'm really excited actually, because I started to realize that the body swapping is not that difficult. It's quite fun to upgrade these figures, and what I love seeing is that when people get these in, they want to do size comparisons or make them fit in with their own collection. And this is like a 6.5 scale action figure, 6.5 inch. But if you put it on a smaller body, you just need the correct tools to make it work. Now, I do want to say that you can't really change up the hands or make them look bigger or smaller, because if you put it on a smaller body, the hands are going to look huge. So you need some replacements for that. So those are really specific gloves in my opinion, but perhaps you can paint some combat gloves white or a little bit creamy with the red to make them look like these. That's certainly an option, but that's the fun in the third-party companies, because they make the stuff and you can make it better at home with more premium material and they have to do some sort of business as well, but they have some love for the collector because they make this stuff, and it's not the biggest amount of figures that they make, so not the biggest in quantities, or yeah, it's actually for a very niche audience, and I do really appreciate them, well, getting there for the collector. And that's important, and that's what I wanted to share in this video, that just have another look at this figure, and I wanted to have some more fun in my future videos as well for just the figures in general, and the love for the third-party companies. Because since the third-party companies started doing their stuff, I got more intrigued with collecting, because I got the Armored Batman from Manable Studios, and it's amazing. And that's a picture-perfect figure, in my opinion. Has enough articulation, is great right out of the box, doesn't need a head swap, doesn't need fixing. And yeah, it just couldn't be better in that scale. And again, I want to say that if you have companies like this, they should just do everything so you have everything in the proper scale with the same size clothing or soft goods, same size head sculpts. And you can get some custom head sculpts here and there, but just like be aware that if you buy a $100 action figure and you need to do some custom head sculpts and painting, it could almost double the cost of the value of your figure, simply because you need to get the proper head sculpt. It needs to be scaled well. You need another neck to put it on. And if I want to get a Peter Parker head on here, I need to buy that and have it printed and get a custom neck head sculpt and paint that and make sure that it doesn't paint rub with the clothes. And yeah, it's just a lot of work that's unseen cost, actually. So be aware of that when you start this hobby, because it's a lot of money just floating around everywhere. And you get a few head sculpts here and a few head sculpts there, and this one is a little bit too small, and this one is a little bit too big, and there you go, there's like $50 in head sculpts just laying around the house, and nobody else really wants to buy them because, yeah, they don't know how they fit and whatnot. So final verdict for this figure: I love the soft goods, I love the hands, I love the sneakers. I basically loved a lot of this figure, except for the way they did the balaclava. You can't tell me that they didn't see it was way too small, so I cut it up a little bit. It's a little bit better. It still looks funky, but then again, Peter Parker in that movie in the wrestler suit was kind of funky looking. It was a little bit odd and uncertain of himself. Yeah, so that's that. Just everything is really good. The Peter Parker head sculpt, not too good. I do like the balaclava head without the soft goods. And from a distance, you're thinking, oh, that's the Sam Raimi wrestling Spider-Man look. It's really cool. And with the soft goods being really accurate, it's just really nice. It's good enough. It's definitely worth a go if you want to get this figure. But in this video, you can also see that it doesn't really scale with your Marvel Legends. It's just too big. But keep in mind that this is with the body that I used, the newer one. So this is not the stock body, even though it's just like half a centimeter of difference. So the head sculpt is still going to be oversized compared to Marvel Legends, the movie figures. So I wouldn't really recommend putting them with there, but more of like a Mesco collection or a custom figure collection. But you can make it work, not for your Marvel Legends, but more in the Mesco line and some other custom figures. But it's more in the 6.5 inch scale at the moment. So yeah, just my like final verdict for this figure. I'm quite excited. I'm happy that I have this. And again, just playing around with it way more and seeing all the options was just something that I thought was really important, and something important for the third-party company. So a really long rambling video, but I just wanted to kind of redeem Remad Custom for this figure. But because everything that I've stated is just, it's just quite nice to have. It's really nice that somebody is, well, taking their time to create something like this, and I wanted to give them props for that. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought.